Part 2. A very personal event. We are living in a limited environment where there are normal events dominated the landscape and abstract phenomena are considered too far-fetched, causing disruptions in what is considered occurrences. Nevertheless, there are many occurrences of this planet which surpasses our abilities of reason and logic, defying any known spectrum of understanding, leaving us in total awe of previous occurrences without an acute knowledge of the incidents, having only bits of information and supplying the public interest. The normalcy of the occurrence of events, area encounters with the Lord, God Almighty, are mostly rare. This infrequency is rare, but the research on those having a conversation with the Almighty does not happen frequently and can only be measured by the people of His choosing. These events are random, as they are not timed. Placement is measured not on a schedule devised by man, but by Jesus. There are never any other people to witness these events, nor does the party have in their possession of an audio-video recording device necessary for recording of the event. These events are very personal. First, the recipient never has any predetermined arrangements on the time or dates of these encounters. Therefore, it is totally a surprise even on the first or second time of the encounter. These events are not coordinated activities. There is no appointed time or date, only in designating a time when the participant is alone and a time when others in the vicinity are asleep or the surrounding are absent, with no audience to avert all your attention to only the initiator of the encounter. There is not introduction of any kind proving data on who will be speaking, which is what makes each event so special. All is a surprised, spontaneous, and unexpected, but having an unbridled utopian experience. One way, one door for supreme happiness. I have failed to know the selection criteria for the honor of being selected in this group of prestigious and honored position. However, it was not my choice. It was the choice of Jesus. I guess I must have done something right. Recognizing my faults and failures, I never thought I was on a list to be selected in having a discussion or contacted by Jesus. There are no words in exclaiming my thoughts for inclusion to be a participant in this most exclusive club. Although I have never met anyone else in having a discussion with the King of the universe, it was a most distinguished honor. I never thought I met the qualifications of Jesus coming to earth to have a conversation with me. If I knew the criteria of this inclusion, I would have done whatever is necessary for this to happen again or more frequently. But these contacts were inaugurated by Jesus, and He is by far smarter than me. Therefore, He sets the tone, the time and date. I am only a participant, only a slave to the Master, waiting for Him to decide on the dates and agenda of this affirmation. Originally, I called this an affirmation. However, it was and it was not. It was not an affirmation of His existence. I always believed He was real and true. However, it did happen not once but 3 times, between the periods of February 1978 through the March 2006, with the longest meeting occurring being in October 21, 2001, being about 30 minutes long. Each experience was so thrilling, exhilarating, and awe-inspiring does not begin to elevate the experience captivated by words alone. As a human and child of God, crying was the only response I was able to transcend in these moments. If you ever wondered how it would feel in being a billionaire owning all wanted, that would be a beginning, but not enough. There is nothing on planet Earth that could compare with this time with Jesus. So many people are trying to create their own happiness or thinking it can be found through another source. They're wrong. There is only one true source of real happiness, and that is through Jesus. One way, one door, real happiness. All other ways are false gods designed to keep you in darkness through deception, fraud, trickery, and false doctrine from seeing the true light. The genuine truth will direct you to authentic happiness. This happiness was absolute on earth. There are no way to exceed or surpass its superiority, as it came from the Creator, who is supreme, unlimited, unadulterated, and flawless. All others contain flaws and inaccuracies leading down a path of destruction and disappointment. There can be a gauging of the preponderance and superiority of his gift of happiness. It exceeds all worldly measurements within all measurable criteria of acceptance standards from a just and creative God using available standards of achievement above all others. Our lives on this planet does contain happiness, however, it is far from real happiness. This life is the pursuit of happiness, as we are always trying to obtain happiness, yet it is far from real happiness. But the happiness we strive to obtain upon this planet is the best available at this moment in time for mankind. The happiness awaiting the recomposed man of heaven is unmeasurable, housing a body of immortality. Ramifications of a perceived loss. There were 3 separate engagements in these transforming events. They began in February 1978 and stopped in March 2006. The first visit came on early Saturday morning. I was alone in my parents' house, reminisced about past events involving my car. I was still disappointed regarding losing it to the finance company back in January. They had contacted me and told me to returning the car to their office. While there, I explained I was expecting my unemployment check to next day, providing a payment to their office. Unfortunately, this was not available and they took my keys and I walked home. I was heartbroken. The atrocity of this loss continued into February until early on Saturday morning of the 18th. I was still depressed from losing my car. While in bed, this voice suddenly appeared, which was not surprising. I had heard this voice before on a few occasions since I was around 14 years old. It was the same voice, and it asked me if I was ready to be a Christian. But this time I said, without an excuse, okay, I'll do it, rather hurriedly and emphatically, as soon as those words left my lips. A great spirit of joy, peace, and happiness fell upon me all at once. It was the most joyous had ever been, and someone also added, "You know you're going to heaven." I was so excited this was just an addition comment to the exhilaration. I ran to my father's room and tried to hug him. I woke him up from his sleep and startled them. I woke the entire household with this amazing event and had to tell them the occurrence of the unannounced, yet unidentified visit. Although there was not a voice identifying himself from previous events, I knew the identity of the voice, since this was the same voice I had heard since I was 13. This voice was the same voice asking me if I wanted to be a Christian. I am pretty sure it was Jesus, but never really gave it that much concern or detailed any information with friends or family. The reasons for my non-disclosure and sharing with anyone are not truly known. I don't really remember what were my reasons for concealing these encounters, but I guess I had my reasons as a teenager. After reflecting on my teenage years, in hindsight, I should have known these events would continue to occur until something meaningful would occur. Even now, 23 years later, there is something remaining undone needing to be accomplished.